start with intros. I'm Lindsay Benitez for anyone I haven't officially met. I also am the first to do a lot of things like we shared. I'm the first in my family to graduate from college, first to study abroad, definitely first to start my own business. They still think I'm crazy for doing so, but we're charting new paths. And that's why I'm super excited to be in community with all of you. I spent my career in HR, but I transitioned a couple years ago to be a leadership coach, speaker, and trainer. And the reason we're here today is because I noticed throughout my career just how much we hold ourselves back as first gen. I've been in the rooms where, we're making decisions around promotions and people did not feel comfortable speaking up about why they needed that promotion, or people being passed over just because they never asked for one. Or I would be negotiating as a recruiter and I'm like, ask me for more money, but they wouldn't, right? So now I get to be on this side, empowering our first gen friends and having these meaningful conversations around what's possible. And I'm on a mission to just make sure that we all understand that we are limitless if we choose to believe we are. A lot of times we're riddled with all these limiting beliefs that we didn't even know existed. And it makes sense. If no one in our families have done certain things, we don't know it's possible. But that's the whole point of this group. I want to make sure we show each other what's possible and challenge each other to go even further than we thought we could. A couple pieces around my background. I'm a certified coach. I love the DISC assessment, which you'll see here, and energy leadership. So you'll hear me talk about that in probably this and future sessions because I want to make sure we're aware of our communication styles because that's one of the most powerful things we have. And if we're not already connected, connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn. That's where I share a lot of information. But more than anything, join the community if you haven't yet. That's where we'll get this recording, resources, and you all can stay connected as well. So, a couple of our values for this group and some commitments if you're here in the room before we keep going. First is community. That's the point of this. We're stronger together. One thing I've realized with my first gen friends and doing different workshops with first gen leaders is that we tend to think that we have to do things alone. Or because we were the first to chart our path, it feels lonely. But we're so much stronger when we ask for help and recognize that that's a strategic strength. And we can learn so much about each other. What I love you all said is like, I want to connect with more. I want to learn from each other because that's how we continue to grow. So, community is our number one value. Second is curiosity. Awareness creates possibility. So the way we approach ourselves, each other, our experiences, everything we talk about, let's lead with curiosity, not judgment. So if you hear something in the room that you may or may not agree with, that's okay, but lead with curiosity. And we're going to infuse some coaching, some conversation, challenge some limiting beliefs in respectful ways. But this is the space to ask those questions and ask for what you need. And then lastly, the reason I started with asking you all, what are we celebrating, is because we don't celebrate our progress enough. So that's what you're going to see a lot of in every session. We're going to talk about what we're celebrating so that we can see what's possible. We can see how we're progressing and cheer each other on. Cool. So if you're still in the room, you're committing to all of this. So today's topic is around this idea of confidence. And I hear this a lot from various clients or people I just come across within my work. I hear this statement, I want to be more confident. That's a pretty loaded statement. And one thing that I realize and I want to teach around is this difference between be confident and build confidence. So as you see this, if anyone's willing to come off mute or just throw it in the chat, what's the difference between being confident and building confidence? I see the gears working. I love it. What's the difference?
I can take a stab at it.
Hmm.
Um, be confident, like something that you are already confident about versus building confidence in an area that you're uncomfortable in or need to work at.
Yeah. What's interesting is we think that we have to be confident already. And you said you're confident at things already. How do you get there? How do you know that you're confident in an area?
Experience is one
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. That's the key word, experience. You start to build that confidence. But so many times we say things like, I can't do that until I'm confident, or I need to act more confident. I need to be more confident. But really, we just build confidence as we go. We all start at the beginning in some areas or in all areas, right? We just build the confidence as we go. So some people may come off more naturally confident, or we think they do. And I'll share my story. Growing up, I was always told that I came off really confident. And if you've met me in real life, I'm not that tall, pretty short. I am female, I am Latina, and I've literally had people tell me if they meet me in real life, like, oh my gosh, you present so much taller. What does that mean? I've had people say, like, oh, you come across so confident, you speak so confident. But what's interesting is I never felt that. There was such a disconnect with this idea of I come off confident versus I feel confident. Has anyone felt that? I see some head nods. It it wasn't until I realized that there's a big difference between telling somebody like, "Oh, you just need to be more confident, speak up, ask for what you need, be confident." That's not going to help someone until we start to think about what are those building blocks of confidence. It's what Nayeli just said, experience, building the confidence, knowing that no matter what area you don't feel confident in, you can get there because it's a feeling that we create based on experiences, based on showing ourselves what we're capable of when we didn't think it was possible. So I want us to pause and think about for a second. And if you have paper in front of you, or if you're more of a notes app or type it in your laptops, what is this idea around confidence for you? Like from 1 to 10, how confident are you if someone were to ask you that right now? How do you define confidence? It's such a loaded word. How do you define confidence? What's one situation where your confidence tends to disappear? And what's one area you'd like to build more confidence in? And for our friends that are going to watch the replay, take some time, think about these questions, write them down. And I'll give everyone here a few minutes. And honestly, we can spend a full day thinking about this, but when you're done, just if you're willing, share the number in the chat. 1 to 10, how confident are you? I see 8, 7, 8-ish, 8, and 7. Awesome. One answer I get a lot is, it depends. Did anyone think that? I saw some head nods like, oh, yes. Okay. We're going to dig into that in a minute. But as again, want to focus on moving forward, and we're going to come back and focus on this reflection as the discussion for the rest of our time. But this definition of confidence, I love that I saw some head nods and hands raised around it depends because it totally does. But I'm curious, and we're going to dig into this. Our definition of confidence is going to be different. Everyone's going to have a different definition, and it's going to depend on the situation and the time and the season of our life. But I'll share my definition, especially for our friends that are watching the recording, is confidence is the willingness to try, is my personal definition. And I can't wait to hear all of yours. And if you're gonna, you may start to shift yours depending on our discussion today. But this is a really important place to start. How do you even define confidence? So that when you have those feelings of fear or overwhelm, or I'm not so confident in this area, or should I even try, you can come back to this definition, whatever you're going to end with today. So again, just to our friends that are in the recording, if you didn't join us August 5th. And if you have any questions on the topic today, you can schedule some time with me one-on-one, and we'll see you next time.